Hey, it's Sarah from sidetracksarah.com. Today we're going to talk about all the tips and tricks that I used in my first month of keto. I have done keto for about a month, and I took a little break over the 4th of July, and then I jumped back in and I'm going full speed ahead. And so anyway, I would like to share with you what all I did in order to get things going. Now, before we go on, I just wanted to share that this is my channel, sidetracksarah.com, and I share lots of information lots of videos, I should say, about eliminating chaos in the kitchen and keeping your family out of the drive-thru. So we do a lot of slow cooker food, instant pot food, and anything for busy families. I'm a busy mom of 7. We homeschool and we run 2 businesses from home. And so yeah, we are busy. And so if you would like to stick around, I'd love for you to subscribe, and I will be sharing lots of new recipes and tips for the kitchen. And in the meantime, let's talk about keto. Now, to be clear, I'm not always going to have keto content because my family doesn't always eat keto, but I am working on losing weight, and so that is why this video is coming about. I have learned so much in my first month, and I actually lost 12 pounds. And that, I mean, I've heard of way better results than that on keto, but to be honest, I cheated so much. Like, I would do 4 days on, and then I'd take the weekend off, and then I would do another 4 or 5 days on, and I'd take 1 or 2 days off. So that was with me taking off days. And then even when I took off a couple weeks for the 4th of July, because I got a little stressed out, and my trend in losing weight tends to be quitting after a couple months, or after I've lost 20 pounds. And so I could see myself going along that trend, and now I realized what I was doing, and I jumped back in. And anyway, my goal is to lose at least 50 pounds by the time we go on our cruise in March of 2020. We're going to go on the Dave Ramsey cruise, and we are super excited. We are completely out of debt except for our home mortgage, and so we are just thrilled to get to go hang out with our friends and do something fun. But it would sure be nice to be about 50 pounds lighter if possible. So anyway, I guess, I forgot to add that the rest of my family is kind of doing it with me, but not full time. My son, who's home from college, he started taking his lunches every day, and he brought a salad, a keto-friendly salad, basically. And then we would have our keto-friendly dinners at night, and he was able to lose 22 pounds in that first month. And my husband, who doesn't even really need to lose weight, lost 10 pounds just from adopting these new habits and having way less sugar in the house and all that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started, and I will share with you all of the things that I used in that first month to keep me going, and I'm going to still use, but I might continue to adjust, and I'll be sharing my journey with you as we go along. I use a lot of salad. I will turn it into chicken taco salad or just chef salad. I just try to make sure and not use too many carb-laden things. Now, my daughter likes to make up a lot of this chicken. She just chops it up, and it's kind of like fajita meat, and she uses that at the beginning of the week for work. I mean, she cooks it all up at the beginning of the week for work, and then she puts it over salad with a lot of other veggies. I also rely on a lot of these veggies like asparagus and broccoli, and sometimes I'll just make a stir fry. If she has some of this made up, I will make a stir fry out of this and some mushrooms, and it's really good and helpful. Now, cheese, I eat a lot of cheese on this diet, and it makes me happy that I can eat cheese and still lose weight. It's kind of crazy. I also I've used a couple of Atkins products. Like this one is like a bars, Now, I've read that maltitol is not actually that good when you're on keto, and that's what this is sweetened with. But I did use it like when I was feeling desperate for chocolate, and I didn't gain any from it, or I didn't stop losing. So I guess use these at your own risk. Same with this Atkins powder. I don't actually know how it was sweetened. Let me see. And I'm not sure on the maltitol if it matters or not, but the Atkins powder, I much prefer chocolate than vanilla, but it's a really good way to have a smoothie. I usually put it in almond milk, and it's been really good. I also rely on pecans and almonds a lot while eating keto. Let's see, these have 4 grams of carbohydrates for about a 1/4 cup, but there's 3 grams of fiber. So I can deduct that for my net carbs and only have on these pecans only have 1 net gram of carbs for every 1/4 cup. So that makes a really good snack for me when I'm feeling desperate. Same with the string cheese, it's only 1 net carb, and so I will eat 1 or 2 of these each day as I go. One of my big weaknesses is drinking Dr. Pepper or vanilla Coke from Sonic, and the way I've gotten around that is to use Zevia, and this is the cola kind. I like the cola, and I like the ginger ale. So this Zevia has been really, really helpful to me. In fact, at first I didn't like it at all. It tasted weird because I don't like all artificial sweeteners, but I managed to, after I started drinking it occasionally after I'd been off of sugar for a while, then I started acquiring a taste for it, and so it's actually been one of my, it gives me that boost of caffeine, it gives me the carbonation that I crave, which is really nice. The only thing that's weird about it is it's clear, and so I don't like to just pour it into a cup and look at it because it makes me feel like I'm drinking a Sprite or something. So anyway, let's see, the next trick I have up my sleeve is I use a lot of heavy whipping cream, which if you use a lot of it, it still does have carbs, but it says that it has less than 1 gram in 1 tablespoon. So for a little bit I thought it had none, but it's still, you'd have to look up how much it is depending on what you're doing, but it's great for making creamier, yummier soups. I will use it if I'm really in a pinch for needing sweets, and I will make some whipped cream, chocolate whipped cream out of it, and it just, that fixes my sweet urge if I just have a little bit of that. I use a little, I think it's like 2 tablespoons of this monk fruit sweetener, along with maybe a 1/4 cup or a 1/2 cup. I'll try to get you the recipe of this heavy whipping cream, and then a little bit of vanilla, and I just use my mixer and just mix it until it fluffs up, and then I keep it in the fridge for a couple days and eat on that as I feel like I really need sweets, which might seem weird to some of you, but it seems to curb my sweet problem that I tend to have. The other thing I really like to keep on hand is this bacon. It's already been cooked bacon, but I can throw it in omelets, and an omelet is definitely a staple food for me, especially at lunchtime. I try to wait usually to eat till 11 or 12, so I'm not starting to eat too early. I'm starting to try to get into this intermittent fasting as I can, but I tend to be extra hungry in the morning, so I don't always wait as long as I'd like to. But having this bacon on hand is great because I can throw it on this salad, or I can throw it in an omelet, and I can use it in other dishes as needed. And this is like several pounds of bacon already cooked up, so it's just one of those easy hacks for me. Okay, for this section, I'm going to show you how I make a tortilla out of cheese. So you can use this for a taco if you bent it up correctly, or you can use it for a tostado. And I might have gotten that a little bit thick. Typically I used to have a friend that made this. She was allergic to any gluten, and so she would make these as her chips. So these are a little thicker than I would like to do. But anyway, you can see how it will start hardening. And for me, sometimes I will use the hardened paste to make a little Mexican pizza, or you could use it as like chips with some kind of dip if you wanted to. But anyway, it's gonna take a little bit for it to get hardened, and you can flip it if you need to, or you can just let it sit. Sometimes flipping it gets a little hectic, so I just usually try to let mine sit as long as possible. Okay, you can see now that I've kind of let that sit for a little bit, and I can start pulling it up, and I can flip it to make sure it's like that on the other side too. And then I just start adding my toppings. So it could be ground beef and veggies or anything like that. You can even add more cheese on top to be like melted cheese on top. But it just gives you a nice little crust to work with that is keto friendly. My only other tricks that I have, I guess I keep some boiled eggs on hand typically. I don't have any right now, but I have a whole bunch more that I could be boiling, and so those are good on salads or as a quick low carb snack or for breakfast. And then like I said, the omelets too. So we do eat a lot of eggs, and sometimes I even make a like I keep focusing on sweets because that first month I'm usually really desiring sweets, but I make a cheesecake. It's a microwave cheesecake, so it really doesn't taste a lot like cheesecake, but it has cream cheese and eggs and vanilla and monk fruit in it, and it gives me that a little bit of a cheesecake taste, and it's good. It's good enough for me. It's more like a custard, I would say, than a cheesecake, the consistency, but it tastes really good. And then other than that, I usually take 1 to 2 days off per week, typically on the weekends because we get really busy with the kids, or we want to go to a movie, or we go out to eat with friends or something. And so I took that time off, and then like I said, I have taken a couple weeks off for a little bit, but I plan to get right back on with all these tips, and I'm sure I'll be learning a whole lot more and I'll continue sharing those with you. Another one of the resources I like to use is the Simply Keto book. It was actually written by a blogger named Suzanne Ryan of Keto Karma. You guys have probably heard of her if you've been doing keto before, but it's been a really helpful book for me, and that's probably the most used book that I've used so far. Another one of my favorite resources to use is my freezer, just the low carb version of my freezer to slow cooker and Instant Pot meal plan. Each meal plan comes with 6 recipes for dinner each week, along with labels to go on the meal, on the freezer bag, your shopping list, side suggestions, a side suggestion shopping list, an extra blank shopping list if you want to print that and add other things to it, as well as assembly instructions. So as you can see here, this is the shopping list, and it's broken up into the meat, the produce, the dry and canned goods, like boxed and canned goods, spices, and then the refrigerator, freezer section, and then anything else is down here in the other section. We also have assembly instructions for you if you would like to make all of your recipes at one time for the week. So I say make them. You're not actually cooking them unless you're needing to brown some ground beef or something like that. But it just helps you to do all the prep work ahead of time. And so you can dice your onion. You can slice, like here, you would be dicing onions, slicing mushrooms, cooking ground beef, and then you just get out your freezer bags and assemble it all according to the instructions. And each of these recipes have both slow cooker directions and Instant Pot ones too. So for me, I like this because I can either put it in first thing in the morning, or if I forget, which I tend to do, I can use the Instant Pot instructions and still get a really good meal for the day. So that has actually been extremely helpful for me to stay on this keto diet, and most of them are keto friendly. There's a few I have to make some substitutions on because when I first wrote these, they weren't specifically for keto, but in general, all of them are under 6 carbs. Some are as high as 9, but it's very, very easy to stay on keto when using this low carb meal plan. And then I guess my last tip is to drink lots and lots of water because it helps me not feel like I'm hungry all the time, which has been amazing. So if you have something you'd like to add to my to what works for you with keto, or tips and tricks you've tried that I haven't tried yet, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. You could leave me a comment. And then if you would subscribe to my channel, I will be adding more on my keto journey, and I'll be adding more low carb, slow cooker, and instant pot meals, as well as family friendly slow cooker and instant pot meals as we go along.